Hey everyone, welcome back to PokeMarketLab. What is causing the Pokemon boom that we're experiencing right now? This big bull run, it's driving prices up. It's bringing people into the hobby where we have this fever that we haven't seen in a while here. I think there's a few root causes here. This is my speculation as to what those causes are. And with that, let's get into it with reason number one. It is definitely the Pokemon trading card game Pocket app. If you're not familiar, this is a new app. This is not Pokemon Go. This is directly related to the card game. So you can purchase packs, you can collect, you can create decks, and you can battle. And so this is, in many ways, this is more powerful than Pokemon Go, right? Because this is exposing people to the art of collecting, to the art of playing the game directly. Instead of Pokemon Go, brought, if you remember, if you weren't in the hobby, brought a lot of people that were exogenous, that were exterior to the game and to collecting, brought people in, and just brought people into Pokemon, right? This is a trading card game in digital form, right? So it's bringing people in, and you're gonna have the knockdown effect of that. Of course, is you're gonna have people that are like, hey, I'm opening packs. This is fun. There's a card game. There's a collectible card game that I can get actual packs. I can rip them. I can collect those cards. I can physically have those cards. Those cards, if they dive even further, those cards have quite a bit of value. Let me explore that, right? So you're going to get a lot of knockdown effects of this kind of crossover, and the Pokemon company does a really good job with their IP and crossing things over, and maximizing their IP through a lot of different means here, through collectibles, through games, multiple games. They have multiple games now in the App Store. Obviously, they have games for the Nintendo Switch. And this IP spans a long. They are the masters, really, of IP. So some interesting data here. So the app has already generated over $400 million in gross revenue within the app. So people are buying packs, they're ripping packs in the app, and there's absolutely some spillover. This is definitely bringing some folks in, and it's supercharging the collecting world here. And again, I don't think there's any one of these reasons that's a contributing factor. I think it's a perfect storm. I think any time like this, you get a bull run, you got this fever. It's not just one thing. 2021 maybe was different in that respect. Actually, in reality, there too, you had influencers plus the pandemic. People were stuck inside, so even then, you had multiple reasons. So Pokemon Pocket's definitely a big contributing factor for sure. And this just brings exposure to the physical TCG. That, again, you're gonna have people that are they see it on the App Store, they install it, they're ripping packs, and then maybe they see packs at their local game store, or probably in checkout at Walmart or Target or something. They pick up a couple packs and find that's it's nice having a card that has some value they can actually put in a binder. So there's definitely spillover there. And again, unlike Pokemon Go, this is direct exposure to cracking packs and physically collecting cards. And the Pokemon Company, I can't overstate this enough. They are the best at crossover. Not just they're the best at capitalizing on IP, right? They've done it over this. It spans decades. It spans different mediums, right? So different forms of art style, both video, both games, artwork, cards, everything. They are maximizing and capitalizing on that IP. And they've done it multiple times now with multiple hit apps, and which is really hard for a company to do, but they excel at it. And reason number two is certainly Scarlet Violet 151 brought a lot of folks back into the market, a lot of nostalgia. This is the original 151, and Prismatic is not necessarily a nostalgia play, but just we find people adore the EV Evolutions cards, right? And so I think that's bringing hype back into the market. I've talked to multiple people who were kind of sort of in Pokemon, kind of in and out, and they're like, I'm absolutely getting some Prismatic. And now that's difficult now, right now with the cost of cards and the cost of Prismatic before release day here. But my point is, people were talking about it that don't normally collect, or they're kind of transient collectors. They'll collect sets they just like, but they'll skip everything else. 151 was a must buy. 151 brought a lot of nostalgia back into the market, and Prismatic's definitely doing the same. It's bringing those people that are kind of transit, like, they come and go once a year on a set. It's definitely bringing folks back in, and again, that's bringing money back into the hobby, and it's causing a lot more demand. And number three, I think this is one, I don't think people talk about this a lot, but the news about there's definitely the news of the fact that there are multiple three-figure cards within sets that you can crack by just grabbing a pack at Walmart. I think that's out there. I think it's kind of like a lottery ticket, right? In a lot of ways, and I think that appeals to people, right? They can just essentially grab a lottery ticket off the shelf at the store, open it, and they might pull a really high end card. They're actually they're the odds are actually a lot better in versus lottery tickets in a lot of scenarios here. So I think the word's gotten out about that, and you got some people, and this is maybe not, maybe this is a downside. Certainly gambling is a thing, and I've seen people in local game stores, they'll just open packs and then trade the card right into the store for cash and keep doing it, and it's literally just gambling. So I think with the influencer and social media market out there, I think again people are getting, that's a huge driver here, is people are getting exposed to this hobby, and then the value with this in this hobby, it's not just the cracking, it's like, hey, you could pull the $500 card, right? Like, just look at the Surging Sparks. You have multiple cards that are in the 3-digit territory. So there's a lot of money there, and then people see that on through social media and influencing. It creates another layer of allure. And one of the big ones here I want to talk about, reason number 4, collector demographics. This is a big one. This is changing. We have, you have the nostalgia play. You have folks that are in their 30s or even 20s, and they were exposed to Pokemon when they were a kid. Maybe they played the game. Maybe they played it on, the Nintendo Switch, or they played it on Game Boy or something way back when. And now they have some disposable income, and they come back into the hobby. Maybe they have kids, and it's something they share with their kids. But it's not just, one of the great things about Pokemon that people don't talk about, and I think other TCGs struggle, I think Magic struggles with this, is the IP for Pokemon is the gateway, right? When Pokemon first came out, it wasn't the card game that pulled people in. It was other things. It was the TV show. It was the Game Boy games, right? That's what pulled people in, and the TCG is another avenue, okay? And again, Pokemon Company is extremely good at look at it like a funnel, right? And they're pulling people in through different means. And I think Magic struggles with this often because there's really no IP to pull people. It's just the game. They've completely blown their IP apart. They've abandoned that and gone towards other avenues. Pokemon still relies on that IP. They rely on the TV show and all these different avenues that they use to pull people in. And even the parents, right? My kids, the only exposure they really got for Pokemon is, hey, Dad enjoys it. So it's something we've done together. We crack packs and collect together. And it's the best thing about Pokemon versus other card games is that it spans age gaps. And it does this extremely, extremely well. I've seen many times. Every time I go into a local game store, GameStop, Target, or whatever, on release day, I always see multiple age groups buying product. And there's different reasons they're buying it, but they're buying product. And it is an extraordinarily hard from an IP standpoint to bridge those gaps. Typically, and Disney struggles with this still, IP dies on the vine when they hit an age gap. Pokemon does a fantastic job of transitioning. And I'm going to show you one of the ways they've transitioned. They've actually, you can sort of draw lines with the artwork transition too. We've seen that artwork transition in Scarlet and Violet. And I think they're adjusting their IP to match the demographic, okay? And they're appealing their cards to a much, much wider audience, which is extremely smart. I've seen it at card shows. I've seen it at Comic-Cons. I've seen the type of people that we're seeing. It's not just people my age. It's not just the nostalgia play. It's women, it's men, it's kids, it's boys, it's girls, it's everyone. There's something there for you to enjoy. I mean, just look at my channel is just on the collecting and investing side of things, right? Just the financial part, right? Well, there's something for us to enjoy, but it spans multiple demographics and multiple interests within that hobby. And I cannot tell you how extremely hard that line is to ride. And the Pokemon Company does a fantastic job. And that is why Pokemon is still popular. And that's why it's increasingly popular. And it is so hard to do that, and they're doing it. I wanted to illustrate here the transition in card artwork. Look at this Rayquaza EX from Roaring Skies, and this is from the XY generation here. This is back in 2015, and so this is a while ago. This is a long time ago now, and this is the most expensive card from that set. Look at Paldean Fates. This is the Bubble Mew from Paldean Fates in 2024, the most expensive card in that set. Look at the difference in artwork, right? So we can kind of infer that these are popular cards, right? Because they're expensive. So there must be some value, some demand there. Look at the difference in cards. You went from really big, bad, in-your-face Pokemon to just more laid-back, cute Pokemon in their scene, in their natural environment, and I think they're trying to appeal to a different demographic here. It's not just the big bad Pokemon in your face, which, you know, kind of guys like that kind of thing. This appeals to kids. This appeals maybe to women. This appeals to a wider variety of people. Now, you still have those big bad Pokemon, but there's just something for everyone. I think that's extremely important. I think it's purposeful. I think it's something they are doing on purpose. Reason number 5, the rip and ship. This is a huge part of the industry now. We're still seeing this is still growing. This is still on the uptrend. It's not something I fully understand. I like to rip the cards myself. I want them in my hand. I don't want to pay someone else to rip them for me. I want that experience myself, but that's just me. But it's very clear that there's a segment of the market that likes this. There's a segment of the market that enjoys this. We've seen a ton of rip and shippers on TikTok. We've seen a ton of them on Whatnot. Valuation has gone through the roof. I tried to look for data specifically to Pokemon, but we don't see that yet. So let's talk about just live shopping, live commerce as it's called in the industry. And the annual spend is expected to be close to $3 billion annually on live commerce shopping by 2028. So it's a big part of the online shopping experience in 2024, because you're not just buying something, right? You're not just going to Amazon, you're buying it. It's part of an experience. You're part of a live stream you're having your packs opened on. Again, I prefer to have my stuff open, delivered to me and open it myself, but that's just me. I'm an old guy in that regard, but and it definitely exposes people to the Pokemon card market, right? They're scrolling through Whatnot and they come across, or TikTok or whatever, and they come across someone opening Pokemon, whether that's live or recorded video. And again, that's that exposure of just seeing, and it's like, hey, here's this hit, it's a $500 card. And again, that goes back to that lottery thing. It's just like, people love to collect. They love to collect stuff that's expensive, right? There's absolutely data surrounding expensive things, and people gravitate towards expensive things. They want that expensive card. They want it, if it's graded, it's even better, right? So there's definitely something there, and I think this trend's gonna continue. It's not something I fully understand, but it's clear the market disagrees with me hard for sure. And just a little bit of data here. Whatnot raises $265 million to bring live shopping mainstream. They have a $5 billion valuation right now. And that's probably going to grow considerably if and when the TikTok ban goes into effect here. The shopping is going to transition hard, and I think this is a trend that's going to continue. And I think this is exposing a lot of people to the collecting side of things and the financial side of things in the industry. So yeah, that's our reasons, our causes. I think personally, I'm sure there's some other stuff here, but I think these are some of the big ones. Again, Pokemon Pocket is a huge one. Lots of exposure to people that are outside of the industry, bringing people in, or again, bringing people back. I think the value, the amount of revenue that they've experienced in the last couple of months, I think is clearly indicative of that. I think social media is huge, and it's going to continue to be huge. It's bringing so many people into the market, and I think one big thing here is I think we're experiencing a lot more transients in the market. It's people that are coming and going based on the set. I don't think it's necessarily linear in terms of, hey, you come into the Pokemon collecting and hobby and you stay there. I think people come and go. I think that's true of just about a lot of hobbies these days. People just they don't stay focused necessarily on one hobby. They kind of bounce back and forth between things. So I think that's why you see like a Prismatic comes out, or a 151 comes out, or even a Surging Sparks, and it just brings people in. So and I can't think the next question we really have to ask ourselves is when and if we get to the bubble, the bubble territory. And I think that's going to be, I don't think that we're there yet. I think that'll be clearly defined by people, the dumb money buying product sight unseen, regardless of when it is. We're seeing a little bit of that with Journey together, but a lot of that is just carry on. I think if we see previews for Journey together and we're not impressed by them, I think that's when we can kind of call and say we're in a little bit of a bubble territory. But Scarlet Violet's looking fantastic. The artwork's fantastic. There's a reason that this stuff should be expensive. I think there's still some sets that are underperforming in terms of price. I think there's a lot of stuff in Sword and Shield that's old enough that it can continue to go higher. And I think a lot of this, just whether it continues or not, just comes down to the market again. To the outside market. You get a lot of crypto money pours in. That's not a reason I listed here, but I think there's some overlap there. It's just hard to really kind of piece together the data on that necessarily, other than looking at a chart in terms of crypto, and does that line up with Pokemon? And it does a little bit, but the greater market lines up with that as well too. So.